EMS workers, our grocery chain employees, as well as our manufacturing companies. And I also want to thank those companies who have retooled to provide us those necessary resources that we need. Before I go on, I'd like to let you know that we have a guest with us today, Director Perlatti from the Cuyahoga County Board of Elections, and he's going to provide us some data. I do know that most people aren't thinking about an election right now, but it's actually very crucial, and we want to make sure that you have all the details that you need in order to be successful. I just finished watching the governor's his update on the coronavirus. And he mentioned that he was going to be trying to release 141 low-level offenders from the prison system. He mentioned that the Corrections Institution Inspection Committee would have to meet to do some work. Well, I am a member of the Corrections Institution Inspection Committee. We have not gotten details on how or what role we will play in releasing those 141 inmates. However, I am looking forward to finding out more information from our chair, Representative Green, and the governor, and I will provide that information back to you as soon as possible. So a couple of things. Number one, the biggest question that I'm getting every day is about unemployment. Where exactly is my money? I know and understand that people are suffering in this community. Many of my family members have been laid off because of the coronavirus. I have friends and family members who have been testing positive for the coronavirus. And so I feel your pain and know that I am doing everything I can to make sure that we get through this pandemic together. So on the lines of unemployment, and also, why don't 1099 employees, sole proprietors, or self-employed individuals get to take advantage of Ohio's unemployment law and our fund? The first thing is, in Ohio, once you have a job, you have to be on that job for at least 20 weeks before you qualify for unemployment. Your employer also has to pay into unemployment in order for you to be able to get unemployment. For those members or citizens who actually meet that criteria, please continue to try to apply for unemployment. The Department of Job and Family Services has hired an additional number of people to try to address the high number of claims. It's my understanding that the state of Ohio has never in its history had this many people applying for unemployment at one time. But we will make sure you get through this. What we would like you to do is try to use non-core hours when you are trying to apply. So don't apply in the middle of the day because it's going to take longer because everybody's awake. The line opens at 7 a.m. in the morning and it closes at 7 p.m. at night. You can also go online at unemployment.ohio.gov to register. Now, if you've ever signed up for unemployment, you got a PIN at that time, whether it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. You will still need that PIN. And if you don't have that PIN, you're going to have to reach a person on the call center in order to get a new PIN. That's where coming in at 7 o'clock in the morning or before to get that PIN before it gets really busy actually goes into effect. But you have between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. You also have Sunday and Monday additional hours that the governor has offered to people to sign up for unemployment. Secondly, those people who are 1099 employees like beauticians and barbers. I understand that you are hurting. And of course, the state law doesn't allow you to get unemployment because that's a federal regulation. But through the CARES Act that was recently passed by Congress, those individuals will have access to unemployment in Ohio. The problem is this: we don't know when that is going to be because the federal government has not given us any direction on how to get these people signed up for unemployment. We know you're hurting. We know you need your money. So we are working diligently with our lieutenant governor and our governor to see if we can hurry up and get them to approve something so you can get your unemployment. Additionally, you will get, based on the Federal CARES Act, an additional $600 a week. Whenever we get that money from the federal government, you'll have it. and you have an additional 13 weeks to receive unemployment if we have not settled this issue. So now, instead of going into my next topic, what I would like to do is bring in our director of the Cuyahoga County Board of Elections. He is doing a yeoman's job down there, and I know that we're going to have a smooth process. Of course, in the ninth hour, we had to change in-person voting or stop in-person voting. So he's had to make a lot of changes for us to be able to vote in this particular election. So Director, would you please share with us what it's like down at the Board of Elections? How can people vote? If you have the statistics on who has voted already, that would also be very helpful for us. But I just want to make sure you let people know how important it is to exercise your democratic right to vote.
Well, thank you, Senator, and thanks for having me on today. You are correct. It is so important for people to exercise their right to vote. So we are in the middle of an election cycle. Today actually is 3 weeks out from April 28th, which is the new deadline for the election. So April 28th is the date in which we will tabulate election results and when the election comes to a close. So far in this election cycle, we have received back just about 90,000 ballots. And the majority of those ballots are the ballots that were cast and set in prior to March 17th. We had received some of them post-election, but that 90,000 represents those individuals who had requested, received, and had mailed their ballots right around March 17th. So as we know, the legislature, we passed a bill that the governor signed, which now sets the election at April 28th and changes it. So primarily it's an all-mail election. So with that, an important piece of it is that the absentee ballot, which typically the voter has to pay the postage, return postage, that will now be covered by the Board of Elections, reimbursed through the Secretary of State's office, which is a good thing. However, everything prior to that, that was not the case. And so all of our documents and all of our envelopes are all set up to say postage, at fixed postage here. So we've been busy trying to change and update those. Because of that, we were not able to get ballots out till just this past Friday, April 3rd. So, and I know a lot of people are saying, hey, where's my ballot? We couldn't do anything prior to that because of the good thing of having the prepaid postage. With that, though, last Friday, we put 10,000 ballots in the mail. We put another 5,000 ballots in the mail yesterday. And we're at a point now where we will be putting ballots in the mail every day, as long as we're getting applications in, and we are getting application requests. And so if people would just be a little patient, those applications that kind of came in March 17th and after till now, we are just getting those ballots in the mail. So hopefully by week's end, most people who have submitted an application will have a ballot coming their way. I do want to remind everyone that the post office does say about 3 to 5 days to get a ballot delivered to their house once we have it printed. But they are trying to expedite that and be closer to the 3-day than they are the 5-day delivery. Since March 17th, through our website and through our telephone system, we've had a little over 40,000 people request applications. So that's a good thing. But others have also gone to the Secretary of State's website to request applications there, as well as, although there's not a lot of places where you can go like a library anymore to get an application, but some people do have some of those applications that were out at different places, maybe City Hall. And so while you do not have to get an application from the Board of Elections, in Cuyahoga County, that's what we prefer. The reason we prefer that is when someone goes through our website or goes through our phone system, we pre-print their name and address right on the application. So that part's already done for them. We send it out with a pre-addressed return envelope. So it's very simple. You just have to put it back in an envelope. You do have to pay the postage on the application return, but you don't have to worry about the address because it's pre-printed. But the biggest thing for us is that we print a unique barcode for that voter on the application. And that's significant because when we get the applications back, we're able to scan that barcode. It pulls up the voter's registration record, and we can quickly do a check to make sure that everything is complete and process that application. The faster we process applications, the faster we get ballots in the mail. And that's important with the election only being 3 weeks away. Now, the Secretary of State is sending out and has sent out a postcard to all registered voters in the state, making them aware of this upcoming election. And on that postcard, Secretary of State has put his web address, and it is okay for people to go there. However, it's not preferred. Again, we'd rather have them come to our website because it is quicker. Now, going to our website, which is www.443vote.us, we make it very simple. Right in the center of our homepage, we have 3 buttons. One button says vote by mail application. And you click on that, and it takes you step by step on how to request the application. And you have the option to either print it from your home, and if you print it, you can put it in your own envelope. Again, the address will be on the application where to send it. You can send that in. But if you don't have a printer or you don't want to print it, you also have an option there where it says, mail me the application. And we will go ahead and we will mail that, get it in the mail the next day to get it to your house. Now, if you don't have a computer at all, don't have internet service, you can call us. And our phone number is 216-443-8683. It's very simple. You press number 3, which is the prompt to request an application. And with that, you put in your zip code, your house number, and your date of birth. And from that, we will send you an application the next day. So we try to make it very simple. And again, we've had 40,000 people utilize this system since March 17th. And so we hope to continue to see people to do that, because there is a lot of important things on the ballot, and people need to exercise their right to vote. So also people need to realize that voting by mail, because some people, if all they've ever done is gone to the polls, voting by mail is a 2-step process. It starts with this application. So you have to request the application and submit it in to us. And from that application, after processing it, we then send out the ballot. You vote the ballot and you send that back. Some people don't realize that, and they think, well, when they go to our website and they're asking for an application, they think they're actually asking for the ballot, and that's what we're going to send them. That's not the case. Again, 2-part process. So why it is important to do to request now and don't wait, because you do have to do the application and then get the ballot. So that's important for people to know. Also, they need to know that when they get their ballot, it has to be postmarked by April 27th. So that is the last date to have a postmark in which you can mail your ballot back to us, April 27th. And as long as it has that postmark and received within 10 days, we will go ahead and process that ballot. If they happen to wake up on April 28th and they realize I didn't return this, well, then what they can do is they can drive down to our offices, 2925 Euclid Avenue, and we have a big secure ballot box in our parking lot that they can put it in that ballot box. And if they personally deliver it, we accept those until 7:30 on April 28th. So again, we've had 90,000 people already vote. 40,000 people have come to our website and asked for applications. We didn't mail out ballots until this past Friday, but by tomorrow we'll be caught up with the backlog of ballots getting out. So then we'll be on a day-to-day basis. And so again, imperative that they go ahead and they do that now. We also have a neat tool on our website. It's called Track My Ballot. So if an individual does vote by mail, just with their name and birth date, they can log in and see when in fact did we process their application, when did we mail them their ballot, and when did we receive it back. So it's a tool for them to kind of see where their application and when their ballot is in the election cycle.
Excellent. Director, thank you so much for that. From what I understand, 90 plus 40 is 130,000 people have requested those ballots. We know that number is low based on the number of people that are registered in Cuyahoga County. So people, we need you to make your voice be heard. Please contact the Board of Elections and get your ballot I wish we could have just sent them the ballot automatically, but that it is what it is right now. So we
Right.
just have to deal with the situation at hand. Thank you so much, Director, for sharing with me and the people watching today. And I look forward to seeing you on election night.
Thank you.
Excellent. So now what I'd like to do is go ahead and turn to another issue that people have called about. And that is the issue of how can I pay my mortgage and my car note? My office has received a lot of telephone calls with people who are not able to pay their mortgage. The federal government and our governor here in Ohio have asked the financial institutions, the credit union, the banks to consider giving people a forbearance, those individuals who have been financially impacted because of COVID-19. That means if you've been impacted and you don't have a paycheck coming in, we don't want you to just say, I'm not paying my house note because I don't have any money right now. What we like you to do is contact your bank or credit union and let them know you've been impacted by the coronavirus and you would like to have a forbearance for your mortgage, your car note, your house note, and maybe your credit cards. Now, every bank is different. I've worked with a lot of people over the last couple of weeks, and I can tell you that everybody that has gone to their banks after hearing this information has been approved. Sometimes it's 1 month, sometimes it's 3 months. In one case, it was even 6 months because they know people cannot pay their bills. Don't just disregard them and get a negative rating on your credit report. Call and ask for forbearance, and they have different options for you to pay. You can put it on the back end of your loan. In some cases, you can just pay it all if you get your money in advance, and or you can make partial payments in order for you to catch up. But your bank has to give you that information. And then finally, the issue of utilities. Our utility companies have already put out a notice that they will not cut you off if you cannot afford to pay your bills, if you've been impacted by the coronavirus. That includes Dominion, East Ohio Gas Company, the Illuminating Company. The city of Cleveland has also said that they will make payment arrangements with you for your water and your sewer bill. And matter of fact, the state legislature has also said through state law that nobody can have their water turned off or their sewer turned off during this pandemic because we need you to keep washing your hands. So those are some things that I want you guys to know about. I don't want to hold you too long. We did have a few questions that came in prior to the meeting once we sent out the notice. And so we're going to take a few questions, but know that we're going to come back next week and share some other critical issues. And we just want to make sure people are staying in as much as they can informed on issues that are impacting them on a regular basis. Also know that you can apply for SNAP food assistance, and the governor announced today that they're going to try to give people an increase in their food assistance. We met with the food bank last week via Skype, and the food bank needs $25 million. They asked the governor and the state legislature to provide the $25 million and consider increasing the SNAP benefits for people because they're running out of food. We have not addressed that issue on the state legislative side, but we will probably be getting to it soon. Now, I received a call from Reverend Jones this morning, and he had a couple of questions for me. He said, how long do you think we're going to have to social distance? And I said, the information that I'm getting from Dr. Acton and the governor, based on the same information you're getting, is that we're looking at sometime at the end of April or sometime in May. I was actually on the phone with a physician this morning who is on the front lines, and he said that he believes that we're looking at the middle to the late part of June. So of course, this stuff is all fluid. We don't know what the curve is going to look like, but from our best recollection, it's going to be between May and June before we can do this. But it's all depending on people social distancing. That's the only thing that's going to help us break this cycle. And then finally, I was asked about conflicting information. People believe that we're hearing a different opinion from our president compared to what we're hearing from our governor in Ohio. And the best answer I have for that is this. I know our governor is working with some of the best and brightest people who deal with emergencies, who deal with the healthcare industries. He's working with the World Health Organizations. We're talking to him every week to get information that we can relate to you all. I believe our governor is giving us the most accurate information possible. So I don't know why we have two different ideas of this issue being an emergency and one saying not so much an emergency. But the fact of the matter is, it's killing a lot of people every day. People are in ICUs in the hospitals. So we know that we have to address it, and it is an emergency. So with that, Kayla, my assistant, can you check to see if we've had any questions come in? Since we've been on the call, I'll try to answer a few of them, and then we'll move on from there.
Yes, Senator. Mike in Cleveland would like to know, he has recently applied for unemployment, and he sees information in the online portal, but he's not able to access it. And he would like to know if you know why this is.
Sure. We've had that call from a few people. Again, we've had so many people calling into the system that the system is doing its own thing right now. What I have told other people is this: when you apply for unemployment, the system is actually sending you correspondence that actually does not exist yet. So you're getting a message that you have a correspondence in your email, but the fact of the matter is the system has never really generated anything for you. The Department of Job and Family Services is actually working to try to fix this glitch, but in the meantime, continue to look back, and I'll provide information via social media as well as my emails whenever this issue gets fixed. But know that they are working on it. If people have questions and don't understand some things, you can always reach me and my aides at williams@ohiosenate.gov. And I always give numbers out. People wonder why, but I think you should have the best access to me as possible. So you can also reach me at 614-466-4857. We've had a lot of people use that number. We want you to email us, reach out to us if you're having problems. My goal is to serve you and to serve you well during this process. Did you have anything else, Kayla? Did anything else come through?
Yes, Senator. The next question comes from Simone in Cleveland. She has a third grader who's preparing for the third grade reading test. Will she be able to go to the fourth grade, and does she need to take any sort of test this year?
The state legislature 2 weeks ago in House Bill 197 gave the local school districts the authority. What we also did is we waived the requirement for the third grade reading guarantee, and we waived the requirement for the standardized test that a lot of students, especially those in the 12th grade, have to take. We know that we have not been able to give them the necessary time that they need to practice for these tests. So it was waived in House Bill 197. It is now up to each individual school superintendent and their boards of education to decide whether or not people have met the criteria to graduate. What that will be based on is going to be up to the school district, but I am hoping to have some of them on next week with me to share with you what they're doing in particular to make sure people are in the path to actually graduate. But yes, the student should be moving on to the fourth grade. And if she has any questions, she can reach out to her superintendent or the principal at that school.
Senator, we also have a request for you to repeat your email address and phone number.
Sure. My email address is Williams, WILLIAMS @ohiosenate.gov. That's OHIOSENATE.gov. Williams@ohiosenate.gov. A lot of that information I have with me on my computer. I'll look at it all day long. And it also goes directly to my staff. So between the 3 or 4 of us, we will have you covered.
We have one more question from Jessica in Cleveland. She wrote, I'm not working because of the coronavirus and I'm worried about paying my bills. Can my water be shut off through the city of Cleveland at this time?
The answer is no. The legislature has put a prohibition on anyone having their water turned off during this pandemic. That was in language in House Bill 197. And the city of Cleveland has also said that they're not going to, I believe they're not going to disconnect you, but I do know for a fact that they are making payment arrangements with people. And you can't get blood from a turnip. So the bottom line is, if you don't have any money to pay through no fault of your own, because we in the government have shut down all these, what we are saying, non-essential businesses, we have to make arrangements for you to keep the services that you need on. So I would say call the city of Cleveland, let them know, and they are not supposed to be cutting your water off at this time. And I believe Kayla said that was the last question. I want to thank all of you for getting on this call with me today. This is our first virtual town hall meeting. Office hours is what I'm calling it. And I believe this is a great opportunity for me to share back information that you have requested. We will try to do that, like I said, on a regular basis, because so many things are moving and changing every day from 1 hour to the next, but I will give you the most up-to-date information as I can. Now, I am going to be coming back on Friday with my colleagues in Senate District 21 and Representative Juanita Brent. So on Friday, we will come to you with more information in another virtual town hall meeting. It'll be myself, Senator Williams. It will be Terrence Upchurch, who represents part of Cleveland. It will be Representative Stephanie House, Representative Janine Boyd, and Representative Juanita Brent. So we look forward to seeing you on Friday, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Have a great day, stay safe, and God bless.